Hey geeks, welcome to the Geek. In this video, we'll touch the next concept in our Python, that is variables. So I have created a Python notebook and renamed it as session 2 variables. So we'll be dealing with different rules that we use for variables in Python and how we can assign the variables in Python, how can we delete, swap, reassign, and a number of concepts. Okay, this video is going to deal everything that you should know to get started with variables in Python. So let's start with the introduction to Python. So what is variable in a Python? So I will write a list of points so you can note down along with me, which will help us in referencing when we revisit back the notebook once again. So variables are nothing but a containers. Okay, you can say that they are the containers to store a value. So container, it usually stores something. So variable is something that stores certain value. Okay. So you can reference or you can manipulate the values during the program execution. Okay, you can reference them back or you can manipulate them back when you are executing a certain program. Okay, so a variable is essentially a name that you'll give to a value. Okay, so variables are names that we give to a value to identify it. Okay, and here, like unlike Java and many other programming languages, you have to define a variable first. Okay, but Python variables do not require any declaration. Okay, you need not declare any the type of a variable. So I'll help you know what is this declaration. So whenever you assign a variable, right, whenever you give a name to a value, you have to declare its type as well. So but in Python that is not required. So that's the most important thing. Okay, so these are the things that you should know for a variable. So it's kind of a container where you can reference and manipulate during the program execution, and it is kind of a name you give to a value. So if you are a person and you are given a name, right, when you have taken your birth, so that's kind of a name that is given which people identify you. That's how we give the variable name to a value, and it does not require any kind of declaration. But when you are defining a certain variable name, okay, giving a name to a value, there are certain things that one should keep in their mind. So, what are the rules that we should keep in our mind? Is firstly, variables can only contain, say, letters, okay, or digits, or underscore. How do you give underscore? It comes like this. Okay, so variable, when you're naming, you can only have letters, digit, or underscore, and it cannot start with a digit. Okay, but it can start with letter or underscore. Okay, and the next point is they are case sensitive. Okay, case sensitive means you have a variable called as xyz. This is not equal to xyz. Okay, it is case sensitive. Small case and bigger case, these matter a lot in Python variables. Okay, and the most important stuff is that you cannot use keywords of Python. Okay, do not use keywords in Python. Say, suppose I'm using something like called as a class, or I'm using if or else. These are all the keywords in the Python. You cannot use them as naming anywhere for your values. Okay, so these are the rules one has to keep in their mind before creating a variable. And now we'll see how we actually do the variable kind of value assignment. Okay, So there are different ways using which you can assign values to your variable. The first way is some basic assignment. So generally how we do. Okay. So suppose I am giving age. My variable name is age. So it's made up of letters. Okay. It's following the thing. It's made up of letters. It is not starting with a digit, or it is not, carrying any of the keywords in Python. So age is not a keyword in Python. This is how I'm defining a variable. So my 22 is my value to which I'm assigning a name called as age. So this is how I am doing the assignment of the variable. So to a value, I'm assigning some variable name. Okay, how do I assign? I'm using this assignment operator. Equal to sign here that you see is assignment operator. So I'm telling age is equal to 22. Okay, the value 22 is getting stored in a variable called as age. Now I will print my variables. I'll say print of age. You can see the output is 22. This is the basic assignment, however you can perform and do. Okay, I'll show you one more example. Say I'm starting something like this. So is it valid? Yes. You can start a variable with an underscore. It's valid. Followed by digits or letters or anything. Okay. So now I will assign it something called as little b. Okay, so here I'm assigning a integer type. Integer means numbers, but here I'm assigning a string type, means a sequence of characters enclosed within double quote. So we'll deal more about the data types in our next video. For now, understand this is kind of a number that is being passed, and this is kind of a string that is being passed. Now similarly, I'll say print underscore color, and this has to print. Okay, and yeah, and I'll show you how it you shouldn't be doing. So suppose I am using something like user dollar name is equal to the geek. Do you think this is correct? No, this is not correct. So let me try to print it. Print user dollar name. Okay, so it throws an error. It tells invalid syntax. Why? Because a variable can only have one special character, that is underscore. It cannot have dollars and all of it. Okay, so that's the main reason why it is failing. This is one of it. Okay, you have to remember this. So for now, let me comment this out, and I'll show you the next one. Suppose I'm telling 56 name is equal to hello geeks. Okay, so now you see, if I enter again, it will tell invalid because it's starting with a number. You are not supposed to start with a digit. Okay, you can start with underscore, or one other way I'll show you. Let me comment this out as well. Suppose I'm starting like this: underscore name 4 is equal to, say I take Google. Okay, and I'll say print my variable name 4. Does this execute? Yes, because it's starting with underscore followed by anything, but it is not starting with a digit, or it is not having any invalid kind of things like dollars or any other special character. So it is valid. Okay, one more thing is, suppose I'm using some class in Python. So can I give it as class is equal to grade 4 and say print class? No. So you can see, if there's anything like a variable, if I'm using, so it's not given in a different color, but you can see as soon as I gave class, it's coming in a different color because this is a keyword in Python. It is identified as a keyword and you're not supposed to use class. Okay, this does not execute again. Okay, so these are the main things one has to remember while declaring a variable. Okay, next. The next type is dynamic way of assignment. So how do you dynamically assign a value? Okay, so I can dynamically assign in the sense, for a same variable, I will give different types of values. Say y is equal to 88, and I'll say y is equal to hello, how are you? Okay, so you see, this is the way how I can print dynamically. Now what happens when I give print y? Does it take first value or second value? It always takes second value because Initially, it will take 88 and store in y, but the next time I'm giving a string. So this 88 will be replaced by this and string, and that's how the string gets printed. So this is dynamically assigning. Okay. So even though how many ever times you assign, the next time you assign the last value will be considered. So now I'll say last value print me. Okay. Now what will be the value of y? It will be last value print me, because this how are you was replaced by the last occurrence of y that we assigned, that is last value print me. That's the meaning of dynamic assignment. Okay. So always remember when you're declaring a variable. The next concept is multiple assignment. So I can assign multiple variables with the same value at one shot. I need not do a is equal to 1, b is equal to 1, c is equal to 1, and then print a comma b comma c. Okay, I need not do that. Okay, one other way I can do is that a is equal to b is equal to c is equal to 1. At a short I'll tell, and then I'll tell print a comma b comma c. Okay, now you see, at one shot it reduces the number of steps that I need to do and put it in one straight line. So I can do multiple assignments in this format. Okay, suppose I want to give different values. Say I'll tell x comma, now here a b c are having one value. Suppose I want to give different and still have it in same line, can I do it? Yes. So I'll say x comma y comma z is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3, and then I'll say print x comma y comma z. Sorry, x comma y comma z. Now you see, it's taking the values in a different way, 1 2 3. Still I reduce the number of steps and put the things in the same straight line. This is called as multiple way of assigning. Okay, now suppose I want to delete my variable. Say I'll tell, suppose a variable called as var, and I'll say I am giving hi, please like, share, subscribe the Geek. Okay, I'll give this. Next time I'll print my var. Okay, so it will tell me var holds this value, so I'm printing this. Say I want to delete var, so I'll use the keyword del and I'll say delete var. Okay, once I've deleted, if I try to print, it tells var is not defined, because initially I define var, I print the value, then I use the keyword del that will delete my var. Okay, so del is a keyword to delete a value of a variable. This is something you need to remember. Okay, you can also delete a variable and it tells var is not defined. So it will delete the variable. Sorry, you have deleted a variable and you are trying to print wherein the value is deleted. Please try to define it once again. So var is not defined. Okay. Then the next concept I wanted to touch was with respect to swapping of the variable. Suppose I have given one value to a variable and then another value to another variable. I want to swap these two. Okay, how do I do? So suppose I've given a as 4 and I've given b as 3. Okay, so can I make sure that my a is pointing to 3 and b is pointing to 4, vice versa? I want to do it in that way. Okay, how I want to do is A should be 3 now and B should be 4. So can I do that? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. How? Let us see. Now A is 4, B is 3. So what do I do is A comma B is equal to B comma A. Okay. Now let me try to print A comma B. So what do you think has happened here? Nothing. It's very simple. Whatever after this equal to sign, right? After this equal to, whatever is my first thing, first value, it is these both are considered to as my value. Whatever comes after the equal sign is considered value. This is the variable. Now the first value will be assigned to my first variable and my second value will be assigned to my second variable. Therefore the value of b will go to a, the value of a will go to b. Okay, 4 and 3 will be replaced now by 3 and 4. Now let us see, right? What is the value of A? It is 3. So A took 3 and B took 4. So it is swapped. This is something that you have to remember. How can you swap the values of your variable? Okay. And the next, not so very important, but it's good to know is how do you kind of reassign the values to a variable. So how can you reassign the value? Suppose my initially I'll tell my friend name is uh, Sharanya. Okay. My friend name is Sharanya and I'll print the name. So I'll print the variable friend name. So it'll tell Sharanya. Okay. Now I want to assign this one to some other variable. So what I'll tell, assigned variable is my variable name now. So I will pass on my friend name, whatever the variable friend name holds, that is Sharanya. Its friend name is pointing to Sharanya, right? Because we assigned using the equal to operator. Now whatever value this friend name has, using this equal to, I am passing on to assigned var. Okay. Now let me try to print assigned var. So what do you think? Assigned var has, it has Sharanya. So I am reassigning my variable, reassigning the value from one variable to another variable. Okay, this is something you need to remember, right? So let's try one more small mini exercise now. I'll say, uh, suppose multiple operators I'll tell. So I will take one initial as a variable called as Mary age, John age, okay, and say Anil age, and I'll assign all of these to something called as 24. Okay, now I will try to print. So I'll try to print Mary's age is, okay, and here I'll say print whatever the value of a variable is present in Mary age. Okay. Similarly, I'll copy this and I'll print one other time, and here I'll tell John's age and here I'll tell Anil's age. Okay. And but here I'll pass the value of John age and here I'll pass the value of Anil age. Okay. So now you see, using this multiple assignment, I in a straight single line I assign 24 to all of these three, and when I'm printing each of them, what I'm doing is I'm just calling them Mary age, John age, Anil age. Okay, in the same way. So this is carrying the same value, right? 24. What if each of them had different values? So that time what will happen? I'll separate them by comma. Okay, and I'll tell 24, 25, 26. Okay, now I'll individually call. So for Mary, I'm calling Mary age. So what happens? The first value after assignment operator is 24 will get assigned to Mary. Second, 25 will get assigned to John, and 26 will get assigned to Anil. So now when I try to print this, it tells 24, 25 and 26, right? So this is all about the variable that you had to know, the concepts behind that. So we touched with what is variable, introduction to variable, and certain rules, how you can name the variable, and then the type you can assign, like basic assignment, dynamic assignment, multiple assignment, deleting a variable, swapping variable, reassigning variable, and some mini exercise. Okay, so one other thing that I wanted to touch here was case sensitive. I told variable is case sensitive, right? So what does it mean? Suppose I say xyz is equal to geek, okay, and I've assigned xyz as geek. Now I'll say print xyz. So what I did, I made y as capital here, but here it was a small letter y. Okay, so you may tell xyz and xyz both variables are same only, so it has to print geek, but it does not print because since it is case sensitive, here it is in uppercase, here it is in lowercase. So these both are different variables now. Okay, they are no more same variable. So it will tell xyz is not defined. But what if I change this caps to small and try to print? Yes, it is geek. Okay, this tells that variable is case sensitive. Okay, let me just put this back here. So that will actually define what it means. So XYZ is not defined because it tells me variable is case sensitive. Okay, so this is all about the thing that one has to know about variables in Python. In case you liked this video and found it informative and learned something new, then please like, share and subscribe the channel. Also hit the notification bell icon to get the latest update instantly on your channel, The Geek. I'll be coming up with more videos like this to entertain you and to help you learn Python in the best efficient way, right? So until then, stay tuned for our very next video, and thank you so much for watching.